Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We're here to give you that ultimate shortcut to being well-informed, and today we're going deep on foundational human biology.
That's right. We're looking at human reproduction, pulling from some high-level educational texts to really map out the choreography of it all.
So our mission today is really about clarity. It's not just a list of parts.
Exactly. We're mapping a biological relay race. We want you to walk away understanding the tight coordination between, the body's hardware, the hormones, the timing, all of it.
It's all about precision.
It really is.
Okay, so let's start with that hardware. The male reproductive system seems to be built for, well, two main things: production and transport.
High volume production, yeah. And it starts with the primary player, the testes, which has this dual role.
Right, so it's a factory for sperm, but it's also making the key hormone, testosterone.
And right away, we hit a fascinating biological compromise. It's all about temperature.
The scrotum.
The scrotum, yes. The source material really emphasizes this. Making viable spermatogenesis, it's a process that's super temperature sensitive. It needs to be just a little bit cooler than the rest of the body.
So that's why they're located externally.
Right.
It's a functional requirement that completely drives the anatomy.
It's a huge engineering decision. You're sacrificing, some protection for optimal production.
Okay, so once the sperm are made, there's this whole conveyor belt sequence to get them out. It's not just a straight shot.
Oh, not at all. It's a highly ordered checklist. It starts at the rete testis, then moves through the vasa efferentia into the epididymis.
And the epididymis is a key stop, right? It's not just a tube.
It's a crucial stop. That's where sperm mature, where they gain motility. They're basically stored there briefly, getting ready for release. The whole sequence is like a quality control line.
And then the final product that's released, semen, is, it's way more than just the sperm.
Correct. Semen is the sperm combined with what's called seminal plasma. And that plasma comes from a few different glands, the seminal vesicles, the prostate.
And it's doing what exactly? Is it just for transport?
It's nutrition and transport. It's the fuel, providing energy for the journey. And it's the fluid medium that lets them swim. Without it, the sperm are just cells going nowhere.
Okay, so let's pivot to the female system. The architecture here seems designed for, well, production, a meeting, and then nurturing.
A completely different set of goals. And like the testes, the ovaries have that dual function. They produce the ova, the eggs, but also secrete the hormones estrogen and progesterone.
Which basically run the whole show from then on.
Pretty much. And if we're talking about the moment of conception, the most important piece of real estate in the whole system becomes the oviducts, or the fallopian tubes.
Because that's the designated meeting point.
That is the specific site of fertilization. The source texts are very clear on that, usually in a wider section called the ampulla.
And the rest of the system is sort of the dedicated housing and delivery apparatus after that meeting.
Precisely. The uterus is for implantation and development, the cervix is the gateway, and the vagina is the birth canal. Every part has a defined sequential job.
So now let's get to gametogenesis, the creation of these sex cells. Because this is where the two strategies just completely diverge.
A profound divergence.
Let's start with spermatogenesis. This is the continuous production model.
It is. It happens in the seminiferous tubules, and it kicks off at puberty. And it's incredibly productive. One starting cell, a primary spermatocyte, ends up yielding 4 functional, viable sperm.
An efficient, renewable factory.
Designed for lifelong continuity, basically.
And what's regulating this relentless production?
It's a tight hormonal dialogue. You have FSH, follicle-stimulating hormone, and LH, luteinizing hormone. FSH sort of gives the green light to start the process, and LH stimulates the cells that make testosterone, which is essential to keep it going.
Okay, now let's contrast that with oogenesis in the female. This is the big aha moment for a lot of people, I think. The timeline is just completely different.
It is the moment. Because while it also happens in the ovaries, the process begins before the female is even born.
So a female fetus is already starting to create her entire lifetime supply of eggs.
Yes, which makes it a finite process, a predetermined resource you can't replenish.
And the numbers are totally different too. It's not about quantity.
Not at all. It's a strategy that prioritizes quality. The cell division is asymmetric. So instead of 4 functional cells, one primary oocyte gives you only 1 functional ovum.
And the other 3.
They're called polar bodies. They're much smaller. The idea is to put all the resources, the cytoplasm, the nutrients, into that one single egg to give it the best possible start after fertilization.
Wow. So that difference in timing, one starting in utero, the other at puberty, that is just a fundamental difference in the entire biological approach.
It really is. It sets the clock decades before maturity. And once those resources are in place, the body operates on the menstrual cycle, that 28-day timeline.
Which is essentially the monthly prep and reset, right? Making sure the environment is ready just in case.
You can break it down into phases. The first, the menstrual phase, that's days 1 to 5. That's the shedding of the uterine lining, the endometrium, the signal that pregnancy didn't happen.
The clean slate.
The clean slate. Then you go right into the follicular phase from about days 6 to 14. This is the buildup period.
Driven by estrogen.
Estrogen is the great builder here, yes. It makes the follicles grow and, crucially, causes the uterine lining to thicken again, preparing a new, nutrient-rich bed for a potential implantation.
And that phase ends with ovulation, the release of the egg.
Right around day 14, triggered by a massive surge of LH.
So, if the timing is right, if that egg and a viable sperm meet, we move into the beginning of pregnancy. And the location, as you said, is the ampulla of the fallopian tube.
Yes, and that spot is so critical because the fertilized egg, the zygote, needs time. It needs time to divide and develop on its journey to the uterus.
It can't show up too early.
Exactly. It has to mature into what's called a blastocyst before it's ready to implant.
So once it's a zygote, it starts changing fast while it's traveling.
Very fast. The zygote divides into a morula, which is like a solid ball of cells, and then that reorganizes into the blastocyst. And the blastocyst is key. It has an outer layer for the placenta and an inner cell mass for the embryo.
And that's the little package that has to settle into the uterine wall.
Correct. Implantation is when that blastocyst successfully burrows into the endometrium. That lining becomes the foundation for the next 9 months.
A 9-month journey, about 280 days. And during that time, the fetus is completely reliant on an organ that's built from scratch just for this job.
The placenta.
I mean, it's a biological marvel.
It is. It's a feat. It takes on like 4 critical full-time jobs at once. First, nutrition, getting nutrients from the mother. Second, respiration, so oxygen in, CO2 out. Third, excretion, removing waste. And fourth, it's an endocrine gland. It secretes hormones.
So it's a temporary lung, kidney, digestive tract, and hormone factory all in one.
All at once, yes.
That is just astonishing. And those hormones are key for maintaining the pregnancy, right? Which ones are specific to the placenta?
Well, it takes over making estrogen and progesterone, but the really unique ones are HCG, human chorionic gonadotropin, and HPL.
HCG is the one from the pregnancy tests.
That's the one. Its job is to keep progesterone levels high so the uterine lining stays stable. And HPL basically helps manage the mother's metabolism to make sure the fetus gets enough nutrients.
A perfect maintenance system. So after 9 months, we finally reach parturition, childbirth. And the trigger for this is one of the body's rare positive feedback loops.
Yes. This is where the choreography gets explosive. It's triggered by oxytocin, which starts uterine contractions.
But unlike a thermostat, which tries to cool things down when they get hot, this system just ramps things up.
It's self-accelerating, and that's critical. Every contraction pushes the baby down, which stretches the cervix. That stretching sends a signal to the brain, which says, release more oxytocin.
Which causes stronger contractions.
Which causes more stretching, more oxytocin. It's a snowball effect. You need that accelerating force to complete the job. It only stops when the baby is delivered.
And the delivery itself is organized into 3 distinct stages.
Yep. Stage 1 is dilation, the opening of the cervix. Stage 2 is expulsion, the actual birth. And stage 3, the placental stage, is the delivery of that temporary organ after the baby is out.
And right after birth, the focus shifts to postnatal care, to lactation.
The secretion of milk.
Yeah.
And that first milk, colostrum, is incredibly important.
Not just for nutrition, right?
It's not primarily about nutrition, no. The research is clear. It is packed with antibodies. It's the baby's first passive immunization before its own immune system is up and running. An initial immune shield.
And which hormones are running this process?
It's another 2-part act. You have prolactin, which controls the actual production of milk, and oxytocin again, which controls the ejection or letdown of the milk.
So production and release are 2 different signals. The level of control is just incredible.
Layered control. Always.
What a sequence. We started with these tiny gametes, moved through a precise 28-day cycle, saw this temporary superorgan get built, and ended with an explosive feedback loop. Each step completely depends on the one before it.
It's biological orchestration at its absolute finest. You see the hormonal baton being passed so seamlessly. FSH and LH started off, estrogen and progesterone build and maintain, and then oxytocin and prolactin handle the grand finale in the aftermath.
So Let's bring it back to the listener. What does this all imply? We kept coming back to the fact that oogenesis, the female process, starts before birth, a finite resource.
Well, spermatogenesis is continuous, renewable, starting at puberty.
Right. So what does that difference in strategy suggest?
Well, if you step back, it suggests a profound difference in resource investment. The female body commits its potential very early, prioritizing quality. The male body commits to continuous, high-volume replenishment. So the provocative thought is this. Does this fundamental difference in timing relying on resources set before we're even born versus resources created in real time suggest that biological vulnerability and potential are managed in completely different ways across the human lifespan? That's a question worth exploring.